You're from New York City, right?
Right.
So you've been living in Rome now for how long exactly?
4 years.
4 years. So have you started feeling Italian like some of those
Well, I'm born
folks?
Italian, bro. You know what I mean? I was Italian. I've been eating macaroni since a week old.
So you're
Italian American.
how far along have you got?
About the film, man. I don't want to talk.
Let's talk about the film. All right, fine. So,
Right. Yeah, you've seen it, right?
oh yeah.
Okay, you've seen it.
I mean, I've seen it before. I've seen it now. I mean,
Let's see what the people. I don't want to talk about me. You know, me.
do you want to take some questions from the audience? All right. Does anybody have? Да, neko ima pitanja.
It doesn't have to be a question. It could be a comment, something on the film, something you want to. Nobody has anything to say.
Okay, so I liked it because if I went to Italy, it would be a totally other story because I wouldn't really feel the atmosphere of people living there every day, and we could feel that in a movie, so that's why I liked it.
Thank you. That's what I like. No, everybody, like I said, you know, here, pass that microphone. Pass it over.
Pa moraš i da kažeš, pa ću ja.
Really?
Ne, bolje mikrofon.
Okay, can you hear me?
No, take the microphone.
Okay.
Welcome to Belgrade. My question about the film. It seemed to be an intensive experience for you too as a director. Yeah.
Šuti.
So, how much did the process of filming it and constructing the film actually changed your idea on identity, cultural identity?
No, I mean, I learned from everybody's conversation, you know, I mean, everybody I talked to, you know, everything that everybody said was like, you know, a revelation to me, you know, I mean, that's what I love about doing documentaries is the, you know, just with people, you never know who's going to say what, man, you know, I mean, you see people, you have an attitude towards them, you think what they're going to do, you think everything about them. You know, you read in the newspapers about everybody, and then when somebody actually expresses their opinion, it's always like, wow, that's outrageous, right? I mean, everyone. I had no idea, you have no idea what anyone's going to say. You know, it's a beautiful thing, and you know, that's why I make fucking movies, is to learn, you know, and to really get it, you know. And, you know, to find the process. And the documentary is easy, you know, when you start writing scripts and you're starting to write things and now you have your preconceived bullshit and then you lay that on the actors and then everybody's like locked into some, you know, sometimes, you know, if you don't, you're not, you know, I'm trying to get to the place where we could write and learn and be open-ended about the process. You know, like you talk about the process, that's the deal. A process of a documentary is the film is being made while you make it. You know, it's not like you got the script and everybody's got, you know, it's like kind of locked in bullshit, you know.
Yeah, but my question is, you personally, not the documentary, how did it change you as a person? Because, you know, the question of identity in our intimacy, it's always like a big question mark, especially if you're a born Italian who lived in America.
Right. So how did it specifically change? But, I mean, I just learned so much from it. It's hard for me to say, I learned this one thing about my identity. I mean, what's my identity, you know? Just talking now, I'm living in 2 years. Well, now I've lived there 4 years, you know. I can't, it's a tough question to answer, you know, about what my identity is in Italy, you know. My identity is I was born to an Italian-American family. I was born into an Italian family from my father's side. My mother's Irish, but it was a deep-set Southern Italian. So that right away, it's a total different thing. Because if you, my grandfather's from Napoli. He's not even from Naples. He's from in the countryside. Okay, so that's a whole different Italian than grows up in the city of Napoli. which is a completely different person that grows up in Rome. All right, he's an immigrant in the United States. Okay, I come back, you know, so many years later, working there. Then I started living there. You know, I have a family there. I'm actually a Roman. I'm living there. 100 degrees, I'm there. You know, Rome is a tough city to live in. You know, nothing fucking works. You can't raise money. You know, you gotta take the oath of fucking poverty. Food, great. Coffee, off the hook. People, cool. You hear these African dudes. Yeah, people, cool. Food's great. You know, Chinese chick, food's great. Weather's great. People are great. Try to make a fucking living. Not so great, you know. But I'm there, so, you know, I'm there Christmas when no one's there, I'm there. You know, Christmas in Italy, in Rome, is not one fucking person. 5 million people have someplace to go. You know, August in Rome, 5 million people have a place to go. It's 100 degrees, you know, 40 degrees centigrade, and I'm there, you know, sweating my fucking ass off, and where the fuck is everybody? You know? But, you know, it's part of being Rome. I'm there with the guys in the bar.
I was just wondering, you know, some documentarians sort of take a little bit of a step back and sort of try to observe things, but like in your movie is just so incredibly immediate and direct, and it's amazing how much of an intimacy you've managed to, you know, build with these people, and also it takes balls just to walk up to strangers in the streets. So how did that process go? I'm just interested in, like, how did you go about sort of achieving that?
You know, again, I live in the neighborhood, so some of this stuff is shot very, you know, traditionally, and you know, the people I can speak English with, I'm speaking English. The guys that, you know, when they start, you know, talking Italian, they might, you know, somebody else is asking them questions, you know. Sometimes we're right in somebody's face with it, you know, we just react to people. If they're gonna get into, you know, coming to me, if the guy's gonna ask me a question, what are you doing? I'm gonna answer. You know, we're shooting a fucking documentary, that's what we're doing. Yeah, you know what I mean? If, you know, the guy's gonna say, I want €50, all right, we'll give you 20. I mean, this film was made for, like, nothing, really. Not nothing. This film was made for €75,000. And it was hell getting it. You can't believe it. 3 different fucking producers, you know. And then the other stuff is shot because I lived there. You know, it's not shot with a crew. I just, you know, some guy's nodding out on the street. I'm just grabbing him on the phone. Somebody else, you know, I got the word out. There's a film school downstairs, you know, my guys, I say, you see something cool, shoot the fucking thing on the phone. You know, it's like, you know, he was taking a shot over time, you know, it was not. You know.
So, you've always appeared in your films, usually in, like, you know, smaller cameo roles or something, but like here you give yourself, like, you're you know, quite a lot. Like, this is also a movie about you in a certain way. So how did you sort of decide to take that approach and put yourself out there that much?
I mean, I don't see myself that much in it. You know, Napoli, we're in it. Some of them were in, some of them were not. You know, with the documentaries, it just depends on the situation. You know, if I'm integral to the conversation, like with Willem. Okay, this is my house. With Defoe, I'm part of the conversation because we're speaking in English to each other. When Garoni is talking, I'm not part of that conversation because he's talking philosophically. I can't speak Italian on a philosophical level, so I'm not in the scene. You know, if we're going back and forth with a guy, I'm there, you know. I mean, I'm there shooting the film. If it works in that scene, I'm there. I don't think about, I gotta be in it or I'm not in it or whatever, you know. If the scene is about, because, you know, it's not just people talking, it's who's filming, you know. I mean, you know, the shots I love the most is when you got 2 cameras and, like, the one guy's shooting, right? And then you see the other camera kind of come in, and then you cut to that angle of that camera. That's sweet. We do it twice. I mean, just by chance. I mean, I just noticed it after we made the movie. But, you know, so, I mean, you're always filming the making of the film. Whether you think you are or you don't, you know. All right, who's got it? Somebody's got, I know somebody's got something brilliant to say. Okay,
Hi. You touched me a little bit with this story how you stay in the town and people go. Because I lived in Italy and it happened the same thing. All the Italians go and we stay. We're kind of surprised what happens in the town, but it's still interesting to be in the town. Well, I want to ask you one thing, and that's how do you see the future? That's very interesting with this guy in the market says, I'm integrated with the foreigners. So when does the foreigner stop to be a foreigner and becomes an Italian, or will these guys that say Italians will disappear in 50 years? So is there a message here that we won't have, we all be the same, we all be merged, and there's no Italians, but still there is these Italians that leave for the summer. So somebody leaves and somebody stays, and when is it going to be a blending of all that?
That's a great question. I mean, I don't know what the future of Europe is going to be 1,000 years from now. I mean, Rome has been invaded many times. I mean, not just guys sitting in the park, like guys showing up, raping and killing your kids, and raping your wife and killing you, and that kind of shit too. So Rome has survived all that. There's still Italians there, right? Germans came in there, right? They were looking to kill these guys. They would have killed them all if they won the war, right? How long would they have dealt with the Neapolitans, right? It would have been the same deal everywhere else. Fucking shoot these people. They survived that. I don't know, it's, again, actually, when the question you're talking about is this a film about, is this about immigration or is this about refugees? Whoa. Okay. Don't get hurt while we're talking. Yeah, I think somebody breaks the ankle, because it's my fault. You know what I'm saying? In other words, my grandfather was an immigrant. He was a real immigrant. He came from 1900. He had enough picking tomatoes, had enough at 100-degree heat, had enough. Somebody told him there's a great place called the United States. Him and his brother left. He showed up, 19 years old, no papers. He didn't even have a ticket on a boat. I mean, he just snuck on the fucking boat. Right? If it was today, it would take a guy like that and drown. Right? Trump America, you try to sneak in like that, they shoot you. Not shoot you, but they send your ass back home. After they put you in jail for about 6 months to think about it. They took him with open arms, man. They didn't give a shit. He didn't have paperwork, he didn't have this, he didn't have that. They took him, gave him a shovel and told him, we're building a fucking railroad to California. And you got a job, dude. And my grandfather loved the United States. His brother, 2 months in the United States, went right back to Italy. Fucking hated it and never went back. And all my grandfather, well, I love America, But anyway, he came, he wanted to be there. And he thrived, he survived. And, I don't know if these cats, a lot of these people we're talking to, even they say it very subtly, there's political problems, there's this, we missed it with the Afghanis. They sit in the park in Kandahar, it's like, first the army comes and say, okay guys, you're with us. Next day the Taliban comes and say, okay guys, you're with us. The next day, they're dead. You don't hang out in the park eating macaroni and, sunning yourself and playing the guitar. In these places. These guys are coming, the African dudes, the kid just said it almost was, ironically, but his father was murdered. These guys have no choice. These people, what's happening in Syria. I mean, the war is going on. I mean, you're destroying people's houses. You're just, women and children, old people, the refugees, they're being forced from their home. They're getting blown out of their home. All these drones and all this shit and billions of dollars of fucking weapons my wonderful president is bragging about selling. That blows fucking people up, man. You don't use weapons on the desert. They're not blowing up mountains. They're killing people. And who's not dead is fucking running for their lives. And so now you're going to say, oh, here's these immigrants coming to my country. No, man. Somehow there's a fucking violent, fucking horrible situation going on, and like, who's gonna help? You know, Garoni was saying, okay, you know, the word there was speculate. The word should be exploit. We exploit Africa, okay? Europe fucking took whatever the fuck they want from that country. More money than they could ever give back. Okay, now it turns around and says, oh, can you help these cats? Oh, no, we can't fucking help these people, man. God almighty, you know. You know, it's all right in 1880, go fucking take the whole continent. You could take that. Now you need a little, you know, somebody needs some help. Oh, well, no, man, you know, we don't get X amount of money, and our fucking economy's depressed, and, you know, so where's the... But there is a lot of compassion here. These cats are compassionate, and there's a lot of feeling there, and there's a lot of feeling the other way. And when you use... I have to sound like a bad politician. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? So you want to take a problem. First of all, I hate when somebody says it's an immigration problem. Well, why is it a fucking problem? You know, the minute you say it's a problem, well, it's a problem because for your personal political ambition, this is a necessary problem that you're going to solve. By what? Building a fucking wall? You're going to build a wall between... I mean, that's almost such a joke. But, you know, in this world, crazy shit happens. You know, 100 million people got killed 50 years ago. One fucking maniac in a fucking beer hall fucking instigated a fucking mass murder of 100 million people. So these aren't jokes. You know, Trump, this North Korea, all these guys talking trash, talking fucking violence, talking negativity, talking, I don't know, out there fucking ass.
But do you feel like sort of this sort of immigration and the way that Piazza Vittorio in Italy and Europe and the world is changing, would you feel that this is an improvement in a way, or...
Improvement on what?
Well, just, you know...
What? Improvement on World War II? Yeah, it's a big improvement.
Enrichment.
Yeah,
of
Piazza Vittorio is a big improvement on Auschwitz.
Yes.
I have two statements and one question. I know this area quite well in Rome. I used to work in tourist business for 25 years. I've been there very often. The last time I was there was 18 years ago. It's tremendous change since that, my last visit to Rome. I congratulate you on the film. It's done in a very easy, nonchalant way, which is unusual in documentary genre. It's not forced. You are not making obvious statement. It's left for us audience to find out our own statements. And I congratulate you for that. Thank you very much for this film. My question is, being as well involved on both sides of camera, how many footage was done, and was there anything that you wanted to film and didn't, for different reasons or various reasons, or how many footage was not in the film, if there was any? Thank you.
I mean, we should thank you. You know, when you're shooting, you know, the big, you know, the upside of the digital world, the upside of the telephone, you can shoot all you want, you know. So we're just shooting. There's a lot of stuff, you know. The film just, you know, in the editing room, you know, a great editor taught me a long time ago is the film cuts itself, man. You know, you got to be perceptive to the film. You don't come in there with an attitude. You don't come in, you look at a shot. That shot tells you where it's going to be edited. You know what I mean? The film, at that point, if you're sensitive, and you know, Fabio, who cut Pasolini's work on all my films in Italy, Annunziata, you know, he's a brilliant editor. He has a very deep sense of what it needs and where to go. He's, you know, he's from the South, but he's lived in Rome 30 years. You know, the guys around me are all Italians, so it's not just my, you know, American take on it. You know, we got guys there that are talking, they know the language, they understand what's being spoken. So,
did you come across any issues filming it? Were there any altercations or just like things that you maybe wanted to shoot but were unable to because of uncooperative people, etc.?
I mean, you know, it's my, even if I'm in a foreign country, I'm a filmmaker. It's my right to shoot a fucking movie. You dig? So if somebody's saying, how could you film a guy sleeping in the street? Well, you want to sleep on the street, I want to film on the street. You know, the street belongs to all of us. I'm a filmmaker, I film it. You know, you don't like it, what can I tell you, bro? You know, somebody comes to me and says, I don't want to be in a film, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you know, I dig it, but I'm not going to not shoot something. You know, the fascist thing, that Casa Pound thing, anytime you show that in Italy, this becomes a big deal. Like, did you go to, it's a fascist headquarters. You know, to me, it's just 3 more people talking whatever bullshit they're talking. I mean, whether it's bullshit or not, I mean, you listen to it. That's what it's about. I'm not going to go into Casa Pound because it's some kind of...
Is Casa Pound near Trg Vitorio?
It's right there. They got a big, beautiful building that some fascist fucking mayor gave them, and everybody else pissed off at him from the left. But it's, you know, the whole fucking city, like the rest of Europe, it's all going right. It's all going that way. As if, like, World War II never fucking happened. Like, that bullshit never happened, you know? I mean, I don't know how you can call yourself a fascist. Here.
Right, yeah, this is something.
Yeah.
They have an actor.
Thank you.
And a director from New York.
Los Angeles, actually, but I went to NYU. No, question. I was here last year, and my gut reaction watching this film reminded me of a film, I can't remember the name, but it was about incredible cinematography of a factory in India where young children made fabric. Did anybody see that film last year? What was that called?
Machines.
Yeah, Machines. Incredible. But there was a distance. It showed these kids that slept in bundles of, they worked 18, 20 hours a day, were woken up, and they did their thing. You just personally explained your political stance regarding the right, the rise of the right in Hungary, places in other places in Europe. So you have a political stance, you have a viewpoint. What I enjoy about coming to BELDOCS is seeing documentary, but the question I have has to do with what are the ethics? And I wish they had a discussion of the filmmaker, because you've made, this is your novel or your book. What is the responsibility of a filmmaker? Because all of what you said right now is not in the film. And my question, I guess, as I was watching it, could a white Southern Christian make a film and where 70% of it is like white people in the South saying, all these Mexicans are coming in here, they're dirty, they're ruining our country? I mean, there's like an irony acceptance. You know, we could play certain music, we could have irony, and then it's a comfortable distance that people can enjoy slice of life without taking in what are the very things that you were saying right now about the realities of Africans leaving war-torn countries, places without fresh water, all of these reasons why there's a surge of North Africans and Africans coming into Europe, seeking a better life, seeking a life because they would be killed where they're being killed. And I just wonder where documentary in general, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, but where documentary goes when it doesn't have to necessarily have a responsibility or an ethics. It can just be like, I'm shooting, and the story is what I shoot, even though as a filmmaker, as an author, you know more. Like, is it a casual like, hey, this guy's kind of cool, let's shoot him and hear his story, and that's okay. That's my comment and question for everyone, because I'd love to hear everybody's view on documentary.
Who's got an answer to that question?
It's a big one.
Well, I'm being told that we have to wrap it up.
Well, we gotta answer the question.
Well, I mean, would you like to take a step?
You gotta say the film stuff.
I'm not sure how to.
Yeah, we'll go.
Why don't you keep talking?
I don't have much experience with documentary films, and I mean, I liked it because when you see all these love movies and stuff, you're like, that's not real life, and here you get experience of real life, and you get to know the real faces of people out there, so I think that's the point.
Okay.
You know, the point, I think, is what I'm saying now, we're saying here in this room, you know, in an argumentative state, in whatever state. The choice of the film is we're letting people speak who came from Africa. So I'm sitting here from New York, live in Italy, and what I just said was, and you love what I just said. These guys come from Africa because of fucking this and fucking that. Okay, you ask the guy from Africa, why'd you come? Hey man, what's up, bro? You know, what's up? I got my band, I got this. You know what I mean? We asked 20 people from Africa, what are you doing here? No one jumped up on a fucking soapbox and started preaching that. You know what I'm saying? So, I could now, at the end of the film, put a camera on me and sit here and say, motherfucking Trump cocksucker, fucking right-wing cocksucker, fuck these guys, exploit fucking Africa, I'm a left-wing motherfucker. You know, I mean, it's like, I'm not looking to pound the point. I'm looking to put the camera on somebody and hear, okay, dude, you're from China. Why are you here? Hey, my daughter's teacher. Like the craziest shit you ever heard. My daughter likes her teacher. That's why you're here from China. Okay, that's cool. You know, I'm not gonna say, Mao Zedong murdered fucking, you know, the Cultural Revolution was a fucking, you know, excuse to murder every motherfucker, these murdering cocksuckers. Now you got a documentary on Stalin, another murdering cocksucker. Fuck all these people. You know what I mean? I got my limousine liberal rap. I mean, it's not like, I don't know.
My answer would be that many movies feel like charity or pittance, and yours doesn't. So is there anything else you would just like to say? Like a charity, like sort of something you're doing to sort of like, oh, look at all of these poor people, and your film doesn't. And that's, I think it's maybe the greatest quality.
All right.